What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another picks, predictions, and preview video here outlining UFC Fight Night Burns versus Brady. If you guys are new to the channel, smash that like button and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications so you never miss an upload, so you never miss a live stream. Speaking of live streams, we are going ham today, ladies and gentlemen. Octagon, then we'll catch a little bit of UFC, then we're going to do Bellator, then we got two deep cards, and then I'm not even sleeping after deep. That is right. There's a deep card at like 1 a.m. There's a deep card at like 4 a.m. Then there's an ACA card at 7 a.m. and we're going to wrap up the weekend streaming ACA at 7 a.m. Literally no sleep, only MMA. Let's fucking go. But let's start with this UFC picks and predictions video here. Now, I have to fire through this, guys. I know I'm late to this here, but we were up late streaming last night, and I have to end the broadcast in like 30 to 40 minutes to be able to jump to Octagon 60. So I won't be able to read chat as much as I usually do throughout these picks and prediction video live streams, but I'll give a shout out to who's here, and I'll try to at least keep my eye on what you guys are saying. And if we have a few minutes here at the end, if we fire through these pretty quick, we'll spend a few minutes with the chat. Good to see you, the Leprechaun Hernan, Irish Animal. That's Gambling Baby. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Feel free to give your guys' opinions, your guys' picks, your thoughts, and talk amongst yourselves as we go through this here. And also vote in the poll question and let me know also your favorite underdog on the card. All right, first fight on the card here. We got Ziamantis Ramaska against Nathan Fletcher. They rebooked this one. Both of them had staff a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and weren't able to fight, so we rebooked this here. Ramaska's 9-2 as a pro up against Nathan Fletcher's 8-1 as a pro. This is supposed to be on the tough finale card. Ramaska was actually pulled from one of his fights in the semifinals in the Ultimate Fighter due to having, I think, a fracture in his face during the season. And Nathan Fletcher, a prospect out of Cage Warriors. Ramaska had arguably the best fight, also the best brawl on the show last season. He's from Lithuania. He's the slight underdog here at plus 115. 5 KO, TKO, 4 submissions, 0 decisions. That's what you like to see. 1-1 in ACB, 3-1 in King of Kings. Again, this fight was so much fun on the Ultimate Fighter. Highly recommend you guys check it out. Doesn't have the best wins on his resume, but there are some decent ones in there. 14-4. 7-1 when he was only 1-0. And, 25-7, 2 went up against a guy with a lot of experience. Nathan Fletcher, though, 8-1, like I said, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's the favorite here at minus 135. What's up, Hockey? Out of Next Generation, 1 KO, TKO, 6 submissions, 1 decision. Lost to Con Offley on the Ultimate Fighter, but beat an 8-1 guy and 6-1 guy before entering the competition. Triangle choke in the first round against the 8-1 guy. Unanimous decision against the 6-1 guy. I am going with the underdog here. I'm going Ramaska. Look, he's not as well-rounded and polished as Fletcher. Fletcher is the better grappler, but it's not easy to take Ramaska down. And Ramaska's got that dog in him, something that I don't think Fletcher has. Surely not at the same level as Ramaska. He's a good brawler. He's a better striker. He's scrappy. And he's bigger as well and actually has some decent reach and range on him compared to Nathan Fletcher. Nathan Fletcher now is fighting at 145, which I honestly think Nathan Fletcher could maybe be more successful at 135. He's just not the biggest 145er, whereas Ramaska, I really think that is his weight class. Ramaska's also has not been finished, knocked out, or submitted since 2018. He's tough, scrappy, and I like the dog in him, and I think that he'll be able to take this one. Now, again, Fletcher, more polished of a grappler, arguably more well-rounded, but I'm going with the scrappier guy here who's just a slight underdog in Ramaska. And again, go back and watch his fight on The Ultimate Fighter. It was awesome. best fight on the show and a really, really fun fight despite it only being 2 rounds. All right, let's move on here. Andre Petroski against Dylan Budka. Dylan Budka looked awful at the weigh-ins. He actually missed weight. They agreed to a catch weight here. What's up, Metallica fan? 11-3 as a pro for Andre Petroski. Dylan Budka 7-3 as a pro. 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Andre Petroski also 3-2 in his last 5 fights, but did win his last one. He's the -265 favorite in this one, despite being a lot older than Budka. Again, Budka had an absolutely terrible weight cut. Was like shaking on the scale. Did not look good at all. And apparently for a guy who had such great high school wrestling, couldn't do anything to Cesar Almeida in the grappling or wrestling department at all. Andre Petroski. Chinny, yes. Getting up there in age, yes. Gas tank, questionable. 4 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 3 decisions. He's a very talented grappler, though. 6-2 in the UFC, 0-1 in LFA. Absolutely destroyed Josh Frem, but it's Josh Frem. But still, hey, good win nonetheless. And actually didn't gas much in that one. Has still gone on the Fury Pro grappling scene between fights. Lost to Malkoon's hip. Lost to Michel Pereira. Not good wins. Michel Pereira on that one was absolutely brutal. A split decision against Gerald Mearshart. It was a sloppy third round. GM3's fights are sloppy, but they're fun. I honestly think that GM3 won that one, but it was a close decision. Andre Petroski's talented. It's just his gas tank is questionable, and he's chinny. But Dylan Budka, I'm just not impressed at all, to be perfectly honest. Yo, what's up, Skates, man? Good to see you. And sorry, guys, won't be able to read chat as much during this stream. Join me for the Octagon stream next. I got to fire through this so I can get to Octagon 60 in like 25, 30 minutes. But I see you guys here, and I appreciate you guys, and I'll try to fire through these quickly so I can read chat towards the end and take some of your guys' thoughts. But having said that, talk amongst yourselves, give your guys' opinions nonetheless. I do have chat open so I can see them. 1 KO TKO, 2 submissions, 4 decisions, 3-1 in LFA, 0-1 in the UFC, 1-0 on Contender Series.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
Like I said, lost Cesar Almeida, didn't have any success in wrestling him, didn't even want to try to wrestle him in that one. Beat Chad Hanekom on Contender Series. Couldn't even finish him. And Chad Hanekom, straight up cokehead. This guy didn't piss Hoff for steroids. Did some lines before the fight. No, I'm kidding. He didn't actually just like do lines before the fight, but he did piss. He did test positive for cocaine. Beat Wes Schultz on the regional scene. Wes Schultz, he's fine, but he didn't win his Contender Series fight. Not the most polished fighter either. Again, I'm just not impressed with Dylan Budka. I don't think he's going to have the cardio to outlast Petroski in this one, despite Petroski not having the best cardio, because he looked awful at the weigh-ins and he just seems depleted in this one. So going with Andre Petroski here. Chinny, but a great grappler. Budka not dangerous on the feet, nor just a dangerous talent overall. Andre Petroski's gas tank looked okay in his last fight, although it was against Fremd. I'm not rating Budka better than Fremd, so I'm pretty sure Petroski's going to take this one. What's up, Bill Cap? Next one, Jaqueline Amorim against Vanessa Diamopoulos. Jaqueline Amorim had a really good run on the regional scene and also in LFA. She's the favorite here at -310. President Budka's performance and no one ever. 8-1 as a pro, 4-1 in her last 5 fights up against Vanessa Diamopoulos, who is 11-5 as a pro, also 4-1 in her last 5 fights. 35 years of age, 29 for Amarin. Vanessa Diamopoulos on a 2-fight win streak, but her last win, if I'm not mistaken, was that split decision. Yeah, split decision against Emily Ducati, which honestly, you can make the argument that Emily won that one. 1 KO TKO, 4 submissions, 6 decisions. Is only lost via decision. 5-2 in the UFC, 5-2 in LFA, 0-1 on Contender Series. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have the best wins on her resume here, let's be perfectly honest. Again, Marotte was 12-2, sure, but if you dig into just her career, she wasn't the most she wasn't the best fighter, let's just say that. Karolina Kowalkiewicz absolutely destroyed her, and Karolina Kowalkiewicz is well past her prime. She beat Junyun Frey. Big freaking whoop. I mean, she's okay, I guess. I don't think, just because she kind of like bounces up and down and is light on her feet, I don't think her striking is that good. She's strong, I'll give her that. She has some decent takedowns. Her grappling's okay, which could be an issue for Jaqueline Amarim, who's just a small 115 pounder. What's up, Just Orthodox? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Like, if there was an atomweight division in the UFC, Jaqueline Amarim would be tearing that division up. But she did look like she's put on a little bit more weight in her last fight, and she just is the better fighter. She's the more talented fighter, in my opinion. Like I said, good run on the regional scene. Trains out of American Top Team. 2 KO, TKO, 6 submissions, 0 decisions. The woman who finishes all her fights is impressive. 4-0 in LFA. 2-1 in the UFC. Come on, Ailcat. You know the answer to that question, buddy. We're going through the UFC stuff right now. Beat Corey McKenna, which was a great win. Beat Ruiz, which is a pretty good win as well. Lost to Sam Hughes, which you don't want to lose to Sam Hughes, but she had her moments in that fight, and Sam Hughes was a lot bigger than her. And again, on LFA, had a great little run there. So despite being a little bit smaller, maybe not having the strength advantage that Vanessa Diamopoulos has, I am going with Jaqueline Amarim. She is just the more talented fighter. She's the better grappler. And even if Diamopoulos gets in top position, I do believe that she will do more work from her back. Ilkat, you got Tapology, brother. You got the internet as well. All right, moving on to the next one. Gabriel Santos versus Yizha. Gabriel Santos, 10-2 as a pro, against Yizha, who's 25-4 as a pro. 4-1 in his last 5 fights on a 3-fight win streak, up against Gabriel Santos, who did lose his last 2 fights. He is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He's 27 years of age. So is Yizha, 27 years of age as well. I'm surprised, okay, that you didn't even see the replay. It was only a 40-second fight, or 45-second fight. Gabriel Santos took his first UFC fight on short notice against Manel Kopp, and actually put on a great performance. 3 KO, TKO, 4 submissions, 3 decisions. And again, I'm firing through these here, guys, so that I can get to Octagon in about 20 to 25 minutes. Sorry for the late predictions video here, but hey, decided not to scrap it and just go ahead with it, but I got to fire through it. So sorry I can't be as engaging with the chat in this stream. I will be in Octagon, UFC, Bellator, Deep, and ACA later today and tomorrow. 0-2 in the UFC, but don't knock him on that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Wrong fighter here. He came into the UFC on short notice against Lerone Murphy. It's Felipe Dos Santos who fought Manel Kopp on short notice coming in. We'll get to that in a moment. But came into the UFC here on short notice against Lerone Murphy, and actually took him to a split decision, which is awesome. Lerone Murphy undefeated and a rising prospect. Shitong, what's up, Spyro? In that division. So this was actually a really good performance. And honestly, he was looking good against David Onama as well, until he got caught, ladies and gentlemen. And David Onama, he's one of those guys who's not going to piece you up, not going to look super polished, but does have that power. But I did like Santos' performance up until, again, he got cracked. Looked really good in LFA, had some good performances in LFA, and beat some good guys in future MMA as well. 5-0, taking on a 10-1 guy. Beat Elvis Brenner when he was only 6-0 as well. And Elvis Brenner is a dog. Really like Gabriel Santos. I even talked him up when he was fighting Lerone Murphy. And again, good performances in the UFC so far. I know he got knocked out in his last one, but if you look at, again, like I said, the fight leading up to that, David Onama hits hard. No shame in that. Yizha retired from the Wu-Tang crew and is now fighting MMA. No, but anyways, 27 years of age. A lot of experience. I'll give him that. Has like 2 or 3 good wins on his resume. No, I don't know, Chill, and I'm not going to sleep again tonight. Good to see you, by the way. But you got to take these guys who come out of China with a grain of salt, because they fight a lot of cans. Yeah, they're super active and they get a lot of experience, but they do fight a lot of cans. So is the experience that valuable? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. 5 KO TKOs, 14 submissions, 6 decisions. He is a very good grappler, so it's going to be interesting to see how scrambly this fight is going to be. 0-1 in the UFC, 14-1 in Wulin Fang, and 5-0 in road to UFC. The last guy he beat in road to UFC was decent. But again, for the most part, a lot of the guys that he has lost to were the best competition, like Jung Young Lee, for example. He lost split decision to him, so no shame in that, but still. Look at some of the guys here. Beat a 10-3 guy, good win there, but 4-7, 0-3 when you're 13-2. I mean, come on, bro. But, you know, that's Wulin Fang for you, and that's, I mean, some of these Chinese promotions. Now, JCK is getting better, and shout out to JCK. They put on a great show this morning. They're getting better, but they're just not deep in talent. They're just not rich in talent. They just don't have a lot of really high level guys. I'm going Gabriel Santos in this one. I just think overall he's the better fighter. He's the better striker. I think he's a very good grappler. Though I think Yizha does have good wrestling and is strong in the top position and can get good takedowns, I do think Gabriel Santos can reverse, can weather those storms, can work off his back if needed, and get back up to his feet. He's fought way better guys throughout his career. Like I said, great run on the regional scene. And like you could argue he's as good of a grappler, but he's definitely a better striker. So we're going Gabriel Santos in this one. What's up, Maddox? What's up, Narashi? Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Ilkat's just trolling again, so I'm just gonna ignore that. Andre Lima against Felipe dos Santos. And again, guys, I'll read more chat in Octagon and the rest of the streams here today. I'm firing through these before UFC today. That's awesome, Idaho. Can't wait to hear about it. Andre Lima, 9-0 as a pro, minus 180. He is the favorite at 25 years of age, up against Felipe dos Santos, who's 23 years of age, 8-1 as a pro. Again, his debut was short notice against Manel Kape, and he actually looked damn good in that fight. It went 3 rounds. What's up, Ready Samadi? Great to see you, buddy. Great fight against Manel Kape. Just good fight overall. Back and forth striking affair. Some good scrambles in that one as well. And I was actually very impressed with his performance there. I thought Kape was actually going to walk through him, even though he was a pretty highly touted prospect. But he just showed that he is just that, a highly touted prospect. And he had a great win over Victor Altamirano. Now it was a split decision. I do think Santos was the rightful winner in that one. Altamirano is a very good fighter as well. And again, just a very good performance. On the amateur scene, he did very well, and he's coming out of a good camp in Shooter Box Diego Lima. 2 KO TKOs, 3 submissions, 3 decisions. 1-1 in the UFC, 1-0 in LFA. Beat a 5-0 guy in LFA, split decision against a 5-2 guy in Brazilian Fighting Series. He's fought pretty much on all like the Brazil regional scenes, SFT, Shuto Brazil, where he beat a 6-1 guy as well. I mean, just look at his resume, man. 3-0, went up against a 6-1 guy, 5-2 guy when he's 5-2. Beat Hugo Paiva when he was 6-0. That's a good win as well. And then came right into the UFC after that and put on a great performance with Manel Kape. He's still fighting, Ilkat. He's still fighting. Andre Lima, the guy who got bit. The guy who got bit. Very rarely will you see a guy getting a win for getting bit, which is absolutely insane. He had a good run on the regional scene as well. Beat a 14-1 guy on Contender Series, a 7-2 in his LFA fight before that. He beat Mitch Raposo, split decision. Mitch Raposo was taking that fight, I believe, up a weight class and on short notice as well. Mitch Raposo is nothing special, but he is a good pocket striker. Like, he's okay. He's solid. He's not bad. He's not great. And it's not like Lima, who definitely looked bigger than him, absolutely like dominated him. Right now, he won. I think he won 2 rounds. Like, I honestly think he won 2 rounds. But Raposo was in that fight for pretty much the whole thing. So whether you want to dock Lima for that or not, I thought that Lima was going to walk through him because I had higher expectations for Lima. I still think he's very, very good. I still think he's a very good striker. I still think he's pretty well-rounded. That's why I'm really excited for this one. Two really good prospects. But like I said, based on his performance against Mitch Raposo, which he did win, which he did land the better shots, which he did more damage, he earned that win. And honestly, it could have been a unanimous decision in my opinion. Felipe Dos Santos impressed me more in his last two fights in the UFC, even in the loss against Manel Cap. So I'm going with Felipe Dos Santos. Is he a little bit more reckless? Is he a little bit more green? Yes. But he takes a few more chances, and I think that those chances can lead to more, well, deadlier outcomes. Not literally, YouTube. Not literally, but more dangerous outcomes. I do think overall he's fought really good opponents. He's young, he's durable, he's tough, he is well-rounded. And like I said, not super polished, but he is scrappy, comes out of a great gym. He's pretty big as well. Awesome Shudo, LFA, and UFC fights so far. And again, Lima's more technical. But I think Santos will actually push the pace on him and maybe force him to fight a little bit more on the back foot here. So we're going with Felipe Dos Santos. Isaac Dulgarian. 6-1 as a pro up against Brendon Marotte, who's 8-2. Is it Marotte? Regardless. He's 28 years of age. Yo, Ilkat, just leave, man. If you're just gonna troll and bitch and complain, I can't take your comments right now. I'm sorry. So join us for Octagon and UFC, but we're going through the UFC picks right now, and I gotta focus on this, man. 6-1 as a pro for Dulgarian. If you're just gonna be upset and just not be happy, you know, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. 6-1 as a pro. If you just want to be a contrarian, this isn't the stream to do it. All right. What's up, Lenny? 6-1 as a pro. He lost his last fight. Split decision, which I do think he should have won that fight. I think he won 2 rounds, 2-1 in my opinion. I don't use the word robbery often, but I do think that one was a robbery. Now, did he gas in the 3rd round? Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, Ilkat's my homie, but like, I don't know why he's just doing this right now, even though I've told him many times what this stream is and what we're doing here. But you do you, brother. You do you. 8-2 is his opponent, but again, not the most impressive wins in my opinion. Now, these odds are absolutely insane. I don't like seeing these odds in mixed martial arts at all. We saw what happened on the Contender Series earlier today. These are boxing odds, and they have no place in mixed martial arts, in my opinion. Having said that, Dulgarian, he's an absolute stud. He's an absolute stud. He's a Factory X guy as well. 4 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 0 decisions, 1-1 in the UFC, 5-0 in FAC. What's up, Krish? Yeah, I'm not being rude at all, Ilkat. You know what you're doing here. You're here to troll. That is it. You're here to troll me on this stream. And again, we're homies. I know what you're doing now. Maybe it's on me for taking the bait. So my apologies to everybody else. Anyways, he beat a 7-1 guy, 7-2 before the Christian Rodriguez fight, which he absolutely dominated him in the first 2 rounds, and then again gassed in the 3rd. And again, props to C-Rod for coming back in the 3rd and actually putting together a pretty good 3rd round. But absolute domination in the first 2 rounds. That should have been a unanimous decision or a split decision going to Dulgarian. Before that, finished all of his opponents. Finished all of his opponents all in the 1st round as well. And on the regionals, or on as an amateur, he went for what's up, Exploring the Car? Brendon Marotte comes out of the New England Cartel, which isn't the greatest gym. It's more of a striking focused gym. And honestly, other than Cater, who's really like stood out in that, from that one, right? There are a few guys who've come out of there, don't get me wrong. But overall, New England Cartel guys, they stay on the New England like regional scene which, yeah, they'll beat some good guys in there. Rob Font's another good guy who came out of that gym as well, but they don't necessarily fight the best guys. 5 KO TKOs, 1 submission, 2 decisions, 0-1 in the UFC, 5-1 in Combat Zone, and 3-0 in CES. Lost to Terrence McKinney in the first round there, and that was a while ago as well. Before then, was on a 3-fight win streak, but again, 8-4 guy, split decision, 3-1 guy when he's 6-1, and an 11-20 guy. CES, I don't really value that promotion too much either. And yeah, you just look at his resume compared to Dulgarian's. Now, he did have a good amateur career here, going for 5-2. He put together a decent win streak before suffering his first loss, but again, not against guys who are very impressive. And again, I don't agree with these odds. I think they're absolutely insane in mixed martial arts, but I do think Isaac Dulgarian should be the heavy favorite, and he is the heavy favorite, so I am going with Dulgarian here. He has insane grappling. Like I said, he should have won against C-Rod, comes out of a better gym, has better power, even though he doesn't rely on his striking too much. He does have really good one-punch power. He has good overhands as well. But again, he's just a grappling phenom. He's really good at setting up ground and pound as well and getting in the dominant position. Gas tank, questionable. And we kind of all question this after him getting first-round finishes after first-round finishes after first-round finishes. Hopefully he's worked on it a little bit. And again, doubtful that Brendon gives him a late push like C-Rod did, or even pushes the pace to even test the cardio of Dulgarian as the fight goes on. Dulgarian, better opponents, better wins. We are going with him. All right, moving up the card, we got Rongzhu against Chris Padilla. Padilla. Apex, yes. Rongzhu 25-5 as a pro up against Chris Padilla, who is 14-6. Now, love the nickname Taco. It's great. It's great. And by the way, Rongzhu, out of a lot of these guys who like develop over in China, who have a lot of experience, you know, well under 30 years of age, like he's 24 years of age, 25-5 as a pro. He's actually fought a lot of good opponents and is one of the few exceptions as a guy who's actually like a legit prospect coming out of that region. Chris Padilla, 14-6, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He is the underdog here. Good win in his last UFC performance. 7 KO TKOs, 5 submissions, 2 decisions, 1-0 in the UFC, 0-1 in Bellator. Just Unorthodox has Padilla as his favorite underdog on this one. And it's not bad. I mean, it's hard to trust these guys. He had a great win against James Leontop. I don't think anyone thought that Padilla was going to win that one. Even I think I picked Leontop to win that one, and that was a great performance by Padilla. Before then, again, knocked out 16-9 guy, choked out a 15-11 guy, knocked out a 7-5 guy at UNF in all of those, which again, just not the best opponents. Now, he has been fighting for a long time, and he had a decent amateur career going 5-0. I just think Rongzhu is more, I mean, it was the same with Leontop, though. But if Chris Padilla beats Rongzhu, then I'm picking Chris Padilla next. But, you know, as I'm kind of alluding to right now, I'm picking Rongzhu to win this one, 25-5 as a pro. Yeah, I knew Lineker was 34. I actually was saying that I was surprised that he was getting older. Like, I was like, oh, man, he's already like 34 Father Time. And time goes by quickly, right? Because I still look at him as a younger guy. 25-5. 4-1 in his last 5 fights on a pretty good 4-fight win streak. Now, he went 1-2 in the UFC, and upon being cut from the UFC, actually put together some really good wins. And he's so young here, so still developing, still honing his craft, still polishing some of these skills. 14 KO, TKO, 7 submissions, 3 decisions, 1 disqualification win as well. 1-2 in the UFC, 16-2 in Wulin Fang, 2-1 in Chin Wu Men MMA Professional League, 3-0 in Road to UFC, and 1-0 in UAE Warriors. So after losing to Ignacio Bahamondes, which again, Bahamondes is pretty good. No shame in that. A little bit of shame in Rodrigo Vargas, though. He went to UAE Warriors and beat a pretty good guy. And then the guys that he beat on Road to UFC, like these 2 guys were actually pretty good. Shin Haraguchi was okay. These 2 guys are actually pretty good. These were some of the best that road to UFC could offer him, unlike some of these freaking cans with inflated records. So I'm actually impressed that he came back strong, and he's looked really good in those fights as well. Is he more well-rounded than Chris Padilla? Yes. Is his, experience a little suspect? Yes. But I just think he's more talented. Now, is Chris Padilla a dog? Absolutely. Does he have okay grappling? Does he have decent hands? Yeah, he has the experience, man. He has the experience, but I'm going to the Rongzhu on this one. Minus 250. I feel like the odds could be a little bit closer in this one, but I don't think it's too inflated there. Young, technical, never been knocked out either. And I think he's just more well-rounded than Padilla, who recently has just one notable win in his last 4 fights. But again, sometimes that can be deceiving. Again, look at Dana White's Contender Series with that crazy, crazy underdog, right? Anyways, going to the Rongzhu, but yeah, Chris Padilla, not a bad underdog at all. If Taco wins, you got to eat tacos on the next stream. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. So Young, that's his cousin? Jeez. All right. Trevor Peak up against Yanal Ashmouz. Trevor Peak, 9-2 as a pro. Yanal Ashmouz, 7-1. And again, guys, I'm going to fire through these here because I do have to jump on the Octagon stream here soon. Yanal Ashmouz out of Israel. He is 7-1 as a pro. I miss Ian McCall too. 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Lost his last fight to Chris Duncan, but actually looked pretty good in that one. And he was injured in that fight. I read somewhere that he broke his arm. And I remember I didn't watch this fight back. I didn't have time this weekend or yesterday. But I kind of, upon reading that, I kind of remember that, yeah, he did. He was injured out of the fight, and there was something that was hampering in that one. Took a year off to nurse that injury as well, and still went the distance against Chris Duncan. Before that was undefeated. Huge knockout against Sam Patterson. I remember Sam Patterson was like swinging at the ref after that. That one was pretty brutal. And he's still only 29 years of age. Hits like a freaking Mack truck, ladies and gentlemen. 4 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 1 decisions. 1-1 in the UFC, 1-0 in PFL. And the guy he beat in PFL Challenger Series, Dennis Hughes, was 7-3. So not bad, not bad. What's up, MMA host? Sorry, man. I gotta keep firing through these because I'm already late. I'm already late to Octagon, but good to see you. Thank you so much for dropping in. Love the last video you posted, by the way, on Dana White going after streamers. Appreciate all the support, my man. Again, B73 guy, 4-1, 2-0 when he was 4-0 and 3-0 respectively, and hits pretty hard. And it's honestly no slouch on the ground either. Trevor Peak, we know what Trevor Peak does. He abandons all defense just to go absolutely ham, throws these crazy ass, non-polished, scrappy friggin' hammer fists as he's standing there. Fun to watch, fun to root for, but that type of style is not going to get him far in the UFC. Now, he re-signed a deal, which is good. I like that. He's entertaining. He's a fan favorite, but yeah, he goes up against more technical guys, and he's going to get further exposed, much like he was against Charlie Campbell. His gas tank ain't the greatest either. Yeah, my wife did beat Muhammad Yahya, but like, I think a lot of us picked Trevor Peak to win in that one regardless. Chepe Mariscal, he lost to Chepe Mariscal, took that fight on short notice. They both gassed in the third. Mariscal is actually proven to be pretty damn good, but again, probably should have finished that one a little earlier. Now, I love the win against Gonzalez. I love the win over Malik Lewis. Again, he's fun to watch. He goes balls to the wall in the first round, but I really hope he works on his gas tank. And I don't think he'll be able to knock out someone like, Ashmouz. And I'm interested to see, because he's tough as nails. And I'm interested to see if Trevor Peak can take some of the shots that Ashmouz throws at Peak. So I am going Ashmouz in this one. Like I said, Trevor Peak just too reckless, too hittable. Peak is loud, I'll say, in his style, right? But just not as technical. Ashmouz hits hard. Good counter striker as well. Both have the dog in them, though. So if this does go 2-3 rounds, it could get sloppy late, but it should be a good fight. Ashmouz, tough as he was hurt in his last fight, like I said. Took time off to recover from his broken arm. Still question Trevor Peak's gas tank. And I do think Yanal Ashmouz is more well-rounded. By the way, big shout out to everyone in the live chat here. I try to be more interactive in these picks and predictions stream, but I am so fucking late. And I'm already late as Octagon started. So yeah, I'm sorry I can't read chat. I gotta fire through these. Matt Schnell, but good to see everybody in the chat here. Good to see everybody in the chat. What's up, Boone? What's up, Savannah? Again, guys, if you want to chat, and I'll be way more interactive in the fight companions that we got coming up. We got Octagon, UFC, Bellator, Deep. Back-to-back deep cards, and then ACA. Matt Schnell against Cody Durden. Now, Cody Durden, a short notice replacement in this one, up against Danger Matt Schnell. Now, Matt Schnell was in one of my favorite UFC fights of all time. Matt Schnell versus Sumnajari, as that fight was absolutely insane. Back and forth. Both of them are rocking each other left, right, and center. Having said that, he's getting up there in age, and he's very, very chinny, far from the Ultimate Fighter prospect that he once was. No problem, Ready. Thank you guys so much for joining. Steve Burseg knocked him out. Nicolau knocked him out. Again, this fight 2 years ago, one of the most fun fights, one of the most scrambly fights to watch in the UFC. It's one of my favorite fights in the UFC. And also lost to Brandon Royval there. He's a talented grappler who, I mean, his striking isn't bad technically, but his chin is just so bad these days, and he just gets rocked or knocked down or knocked out in seemingly every single fight. And Cody Durden, despite coming in on short notice here, looked awesome in his last fight against Bruno Silva. He got caught, but he was actually beating Silva, was rocking Silva, and his striking has come a long way, given that wrestling and grappling is his bread and butter. No shame in losing to Ulian Bekov, and honestly, no shame in losing to Bruno Silva because he was actually beating Silva. And that one was on a 3-fight win streak before that, where he pieced up Jake Hadley, beat Charles Johnson, and Carlos Mota. So I am going Cody Durden on this one. Despite coming in on short notice, he always seems to be in pretty good shape. He always seems to be in fighting shape. He can either push the pace in the wrestling department, and where I think he's going to win this is just outbox Schnell. I really think his striking has come such a long way, and he proved that in his last fight against Bruno Silva. Schnell, though, off his back can be tricky. He does have some good submissions, but I think Cody Durden just keeps this one on the feet, and I do think that he chins Matt Schnell. Yes, sir. Boone, yes, sir. Again, happy to converse a little bit more on the next stream, guys. Appreciate you all for stopping by this one. Kyle Nelson, the monster. Oh, Canada. Against Steve Garcia. Now, Kyle Nelson was supposed to fight Calvin Kattar, who was given a pretty big opportunity in that one. Calvin Kattar had to pull out, so he was given Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia, 16-5 as a pro, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. And you know what? Calvin Kattar, I think, is obviously better than Steve Garcia, but Steve Garcia is a dangerous fighter as well, so Kyle Nelson does have his work cut out in this one as well. It's not like he was just given a much easier opponent. Kyle Nelson, the monster, and I say this every time I do a rundown for Kyle Nelson. He's good everywhere. He's not great anywhere, but he's game to fight, and he's tough. But Steve Garcia is dangerous, and I think that is the factor here. Brutal win against Sung Woo Choi. Great win against Costa. Man, he was on KO, TKO, and absolutely destroyed Chase Hooper. Man, he's on a 4-fight KO TKO streak right now. Very, very dangerous opponent. Now, Kyle Nelson is tough. Don't get me wrong. He is tough. So I don't know if Steve Garcia chins him in this one. He very well could. Regardless, I'm picking Steve Garcia because if this does go the distance, I do reckon Steve Garcia is going to do more damage. 6 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 6 decisions for Kyle Nelson, 4-4 in the UFC. Great win against Bill Algio there. And he's only been submitted once, only been knocked out twice. Where's Steve Garcia? Out of Jackson and Wink 2, which is a pretty good gym. 13 KO, TKO, 0 submissions, and I don't think Kyle Nelson is going to be the one to submit him. 5-2 in the UFC, 5-2 in Bellator, 1-0 in LFA. Yeah, Nelson, by the way, yeah, did come in overweight in this one too, which is funny because he was talking in his pre-fight press conference about how he was getting his nutrition together better and how he wasn't depleting his body as much in his weight cuts, and clearly here since he missed weight. But regardless, I think Steve Garcia wins this one, whether he TKOs him and gets that 5th KO TKO in a row or just wins on damage. Home main event of the evening. What's up, Amin? Good to see you. What's up, Wool Black Betty? Good to see you guys. Again, I'll be more interactive in my next stream, guys. I got to fire through these last 2, and I'm already late for Octagon. Jéssica Andrade versus Natália Silva. So, yeah, again, like I said, I'm going with Steve Garcia in the last one. Natália Silva is the favorite here, -320. She's a very, very good striker. And I'm picking her to win in this one. Light on her feet, good range, good distance control, very good combos. On a great and impressive win streak as well. Well-rounded, younger, and way less wear and tear on her body. Now, Jéssica Andrade, she hits hard, right? But I do think she's better at 115. She's not the same 125er that she was in the past. She does have an ability to knock any girl out, though, because she does, or TKO any girl. She does have that power. But I do think Silva pieces her up and doesn't allow Andrade to hit her with any of those big shots. Now, Andrade is, after being on a losing streak, did get back in the win column, TKOing Mackenzie Dern and beating Marina Rodriguez, split decision. Natália Silva, though, has actually gone up against pretty good opponents in her own right. Arroyo, Andrea Lee, Leonardo, Bleda, who's undefeated at that point, and a 7-1 Jasmine Vicious is that time as well. And she's just been looking better and better. Now, Jéssica Andrade can crack any girl. She does have that power, but she is slowing down. She's getting a little chinny in her own right. And I do think Natália Silva is just better everywhere. So we're going with Natália Silva in this one. Thank you guys for getting your predictions in the chat. I see them. Again, my apologies for not being able to be more interactive in these ones, or in this particular UFC picks and predictions video. I promise I will be on the next one. I almost scrapped this, but I was like, I can squeeze it in. So I'll miss one prelim on Octagon. It's not that big of a deal. Good to see you. Like I said, exploring the call. Like I said, sorry, I can't read chat right now. Sean Brady, 16-1 as a pro. Gilbert Dorino Burns, 22-7 as a pro. 38 years of age. Where did the time go, ladies and gentlemen? For Gilbert Dorino Burns. It was over 2 years ago where he had that war against Khamzat Chimaev. And honestly, that was his last really good performance, in my opinion. Because, yeah, he beat Neil Magny, like, easily. Don't get me wrong. It was a quick fight. Jorge Masvidal, I was expecting him to actually finish Masvidal in that one, and he didn't. And then lost to Bilal Muhammad. Mind you, stayed in that fight with a shoulder injury. And had his moments against Jack Della Maddalena as well. Don't get me wrong. It's a tough one here. Because I do think Gilbert Burns has the better striking, has a better power in his striking, but he is getting a little bit older. I don't want to say he's slowing down just yet, but we might see that in this one. It was kind of hard to tell against someone who's as good at striking as Jack Della Maddalena. As far as grappling, they're both tremendous grapplers, right? They're both tremendous grapplers. I'd say, especially at this stage in both of their respective careers, they're at the same level. You might even give Sean Brady a little bit of the edge. He's only lost to Bilal Muhammad. Now, Bilal Muhammad did finish Sean Brady. Bilal Muhammad couldn't even finish a injured Gilbert Burns. So I know MMA math doesn't always add up, but it's something to note there. Sean Brady trains at a pretty damn good gym as well. 3 KO TKOs, 5 submissions, 8 decisions. 6-1 in the UFC, 1-0 in the LFA. I don't think Sean Brady makes this fight exciting, though. If anyone's going to make this fight exciting, it's going to be Gilbert Burns. Great win against Kelvin Gastelum, though, in his last fight. Again, surprising, but maybe not surprising now that Bilal Muhammad is the champion. Lost against Bilal Muhammad, just how quickly it happened. Beat Chiesa, which, good win against Jake Matthews, though. Good win against Jake Matthews. Nordiev was a good win. Bina was a good win. I'm just I'm excited and interested to see Brady now. I mean, despite the win streak he was on, it was tremendous. Don't get me wrong, he was undefeated, but like I'm excited to see him now face better names, better competitions, right? Like the Jack Dellas, the Gilbert Burns, and a lot more of that 170-pound division. Because let's be perfectly honest, other than Jake Matthews, Nordiev, I mean, Urbina at that time, like, he hasn't really faced good opponents. I mean, Michael Chiesa, sure, he was a name, but he was, even in 2021, it's not like Michael Chiesa was, like, he was already past his prime like 2 or 3 years ago, right? 3 years ago, I guess. Gilbert Burns, definitely not in his prime anymore, but I still think is a little dangerous. 6 KO TKOs. By the way, quick turnaround from that brutal finish. I think it was only 6 months. 6 KO TKOs, 9 submissions, never been submitted. 7 decisions. 15-7 as a pro. Sorry, 15-7 in the UFC. Man, it's crazy he's been in the UFC that long now. Like I said, lost his last 2 fights there. Beat Masvidal and Magny. Really good fight against Chimaev. Could have gone either way, in my opinion. I know it wasn't split decision, but both of them had their moments, and it was an absolute war. And honestly, this was the last really, really good fight that we saw from Burns. Before then, beat really good opponents, man. Damian Maia, 2-time title challenger. Tyron Woodley, the former champ. Stephen Thompson, title challenger. Yo, Activate Abe, jumping over to Octagon in a moment here, buddy. Gunnar Nelson as well. Like, Gleason, that was in grappling. Olivier Aubin-Mercier, like, his resume is way more impressive than Sean Brady, but it's the up-and-comer against the older fighter here, right? I still think Gilbert Burns has a little gas left in the tank, but I am picking Sean Brady to win this one. Like I said, Dorino Burns is the better striker. I do think he has more power, but age and wear and tear I think are getting the better of him, and might be that factor here in this fight. In his last 5 fights, the Chimaev one was the best and most impressive of his performance, despite him winning 2. I mean, obviously he ran through Neil Magny, and I like Neil Magny, but you guys know what I mean. You guys are fight fans. You know what I mean. I do think Sean Brady will put on a good pace. He doesn't have terrible hands, but I don't think he's going to box with Burns in this one. I believe this one will likely go to the ground, and then there'll be some good scrambles, but Brady will try to out-wrestle and out-control Burns in this one. I don't think this will be an exciting fight. I think this will be 5 rounds of a lot of wrestling by Brady. Yeah, so I think Burns is the one who will make this fight exciting if it does end up being exciting by forcing this on the feet and actually forcing Sean Brady to strike with him. Brady, I reckon, will smother Burns for a decision, or Burns will outstrike him and win on damage, but I am picking Brady to win this one. My lock is Isaac Dulgarian. Surprise, surprise. However, don't let those odds sway you. I mean, I shouldn't say it. Let me rephrase it. Obviously don't let the odds sway you. The odds, in my opinion, should never be that big in mixed martial arts. Having said that, Isaac Dulgarian's probably going to beat his opponent because his opponent's not very good. So he's my lock. And because Volkan asks me every single week, I'm going to give a degenerate and safe parlay. Again, you guys are the betting experts, not me. I just do these for fun. Degenerate parlay. The guy who's facing Dulgarian. Marotte, Yizha, and Budka in my degenerate parlay. Safe parlay, I'm going Durden, Garcia, and Rongzhu, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the Rongzhu one, that one might bite me in the ass. That one might bite me in the ass. Big shout out to Ready Samedi, Activate A, Sven, Just Unorthodox, Exploring the Cobb, Boone, Imin, Ilkat, Old Black Betty, Bam Balam, Chris Cushman, Austin Malley, MMA Holes, No Chill, Idaho Skatesman, Sean Spencer, Jules, good to see you, Jules. Mateo, 4 Ounce to Freedom, my boy Zach. Who else? Narashi, Spyro. Giving you guys all a shout out because I wasn't able to read chat here in this stream. Irish Animal, Hoggy from Home, Hernan, the Leprechaun, and that's Gambling Baby. Appreciate you guys. There's one free prelim of Octagon, and the rest are going to all be on DAZN. I'm hopping over to that right now, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for starting Octagon late. Again, my deepest apologies. I hate letting you guys down, so my apologies for that one. But I did want to squeeze in my UFC picks and predictions here. So we're jumping over to Octagon now, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the link. Octagon time. It's going to be a great card. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for this UFC picks and predictions. I promise I'll be more interactive next week on my UFC picks and predictions, but I'm glad I was able to get these out last minute. Like and subscribe. Octagon, UFC, Bellator, Deep, and ACA. 6 back-to-back cards next, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss it live here on the City Life Project YouTube channel. Smash that like button and subscribe, and always remember, it's motherfucking Herb Dean's fault. See you for Octagon literally right now. Peace.
Yeah.